Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, my fellow Biafrans. Biafra all over the world, you are watching live and direct on Enter Biafra Channel 1 and Channel 2, live and direct on Voice of Biafra 97.5 FM in Biafra land, including in Akwa Ibom State, which is also part of Biafra. The broadcast is live and direct in Akwa Ibom State. We will be expecting the River State Voice of Biafra very soon. And of course, we'll be expecting other Voice of Biafra across Biafra land. And very soon, we are going to cover the entire Biafra territory with the radio FM Voice of Biafra 97.5. I thank you all this evening from my location here, and I want to inform Biafra people that we are marching forward. I want you to understand that it is your responsibility to be part of those who will secure the future of your unborn generation. I want you to understand at no point in time will you succumb to threat from both the state actors and those ignorant non-entities who come with all manner of threat, thinking that with threat you are going to derail and you are going to succumb to their threat. I want you also to understand that no amount of military siege in Biafra land will make you to derail. I want you to understand that you must stand very firm and stand very strong as we are entering the final stage of Biafra freedom. Freedom is never things that come from the platter of gold. Fight for freedom is dirty. The fight for freedom is something that many people will stake their life to make others gain their freedom and the future generation of their nations to be secured. That's exactly what we have chosen to do. That's exactly what the Biafra people are doing. That's what the autopilot of IPOB, under the leadership of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, in his absence, we have decided to be doing. The path we have taken so far will be the path that is going to lead us to Biafra in 2023. I have come this evening as a Biafran, as a spokesperson for the indigenous people of Biafra and the Biafra people, to explain some of the roadmap. I would say to explain one of the roadmap, how Biafra will be restored and how we are going to achieve our independence in 2023. There are some of the things I'm not going to make open. I'm just going to tell you one of the strategy, which is no election in Biafra land. There is something you are going to know today. You are going to know at least very little reason why no election will facilitate Biafra next year. I'm going to explain, but I'm not going to give details somehow that the Nigeria state may look for a way to sustain the no election. Of course, it does not matter how they want to do it, but with what we have at hand, it will never be successful if they try to sustain it. We are not hiding our mouth. We are not hiding our plan, and we are not hiding what we are doing. What we are doing is legitimate. We are now fighting like Ukrainians. We are fighting like South Sudan and North Sudan. We are fighting just like every other nation who have fought and they gain their freedom after fighting. We are now fighting in a different way. I want to inform some of you today who do not understand what is going on, that the Biafra war did not end in 1970. After the physical and gun war and the bomb war that ended in 1970, Nigeria adopted a new systematic war against Biafra. Of course, some people will say everybody is being marginalized. Some people will say the Biafra people are being marginalized. And we have come to inform them that the fight for Biafra freedom is not because of marginalization. And the reason is because when you talk to them, they tell you it is not only Biafrans that are being marginalized, that every tribe is marginalized and complaining in Nigeria. So why do you want to continue to be part of a country where every tribe is complaining? Only one tribe is not complaining. Only one tribe. And that tribe was not even in Nigeria in the first place. They call them Fulani. Only Fulani are the people who are not complaining, because naturally they are Alekas. What our people call Aleka. Aleka is Ngwere. Ngwere that doesn't drink water. Fulani are like Ngwere. Ngwere is called lizard. Lizard that doesn't drink water. So if they see something to eat, they are very contented with it. Fulani are a tribe that never had any plan of development. So they are the only people that are not complaining in Nigeria, because the agenda is not for them to become anything or to drink water. The plan of Fulani is not to drink water. They are Wangweres, lizard. They live like lizard that doesn't drink water. So when the people of Nigeria, the ethnic groups and indigenous people in Nigeria, they can no longer drink water, they are beginning to behave like Wangweres, like lizard, like Alekas of the nomadic people. It takes many years for people to not drink water, and they will begin to complain. So when you touch this person, they tell you, I am not drinking water anymore. I'm marginalized. So the marginalization here, I'm just using water, to do some illustration. They will tell you it is not only Biafrans that are not drinking water. Well, the Yorubas are not also drinking water. They are complaining of water. The Middle Belt is also, the Hausa people are complaining of water. So why is it you, Biafra people, that want to leave Nigeria just because you are the one complaining about water? Other people are complaining too. So the question is, who want to continue to stay in a country that he cannot drink water? When you have come to understand that if you separate from these people, you will be able to manufacture something that will give you water. You'll be able to drill something that will give you water. You'll be able to make a machine that can produce water for you. So why do you want to continue to be in a country where other people are complaining, and because other people are complaining, they say you must complain with us. Let us die here together. We cannot die together in one Nigeria. That is why Biafra are leading the forefront of the dissolution of Nigeria by 2023. So I have given you an illustration of why the Biafra people are taking this lead to disintegrate Nigeria. Because we cannot agree to suffer like you. Whether Hausa people is marginalized and they don't want to complain is their problem. We are not only complaining about the marginalization. And let me tell you, it is not about marginalization. But let us even take it from the context of that marginalization. So we are saying that if you are very comfortable and with your complaint against Nigeria state, with your complaint against the establishment of Nigeria, that makes you to complain and feel marginalized. And if you are comfortable with that, we must not have the same opinion with you. We are not comfortable. And the majority of Biafrans are not comfortable. So, and we are also not even, we don't even expect every Biafrans to agree with us. Those who are very comfortable with their suffering, with their suffer ahead in Nigeria, they can also choose. And that is why it is very important. The world knows what we call the referendum, where people will vote either to be part of this suffer-ahead Nigeria or not. And as so far so good, The majority of Biafrans have adopted the exit of Biafra from Nigeria. And that is why everything we do, everything we order, they respect and they honor and obey it. So anybody thinking that what we are doing is out of line, what we are doing is against law, or what we are doing is against anything, the person is joking. What we are doing is the right thing. We are going to fight Nigeria. It is our right when they refuse to listen to us. And I want those who think that we are trying to stop democratic process. No, Nigeria themselves stopped democratic process in the first place. What we are doing now is only to help Nigeria destroy their evil democratic process. Nigeria started it. Do you know how they started it? Nigeria started destroying democratic process by killing the indigenous people of Biafra who went to demonstrate and exercise their democratic right to protest. They killed them. Nigeria state went to where IPOB members were praying in Biafra land and killed 150 of them. So they started the destruction of the democratic process and the democracy. And we are going to help them to end it in 2023. Democracy does not exist in Nigeria. It doesn't exist. Nigeria went to Lekki toll gate while Nigerians carried flag to show their civil right to demonstrate against the state for whatever reason. Nigeria killed them. It is just on the 20th of this month will make it 2 years. So we need to refresh a moment. So when you talk about people or Biafra people decided that we have decided to not allow Nigeria to organize Nigeria election in Biafra land, we are not disturbing democratic process because democracy is dead in Nigeria a long time ago, before we even started this liberation movement, because we are now in liberation. So we are going to help Nigeria to destroy it by 2023 and then rebuild our nations and have our freedom from Nigeria. Now, this evening, I've just come to explain to you how stopping election in Nigeria, stopping Nigeria election in Biafra land is going to facilitate Biafra next year. That is what I have come here to explain to you this evening. I may not go into I may not explain a lot of things because there are those that are meant for only us and why we adopt and following this path. So if anybody asks you that you are trying to stop democratic process, tell the person that Nigeria itself has killed democracy. And what we are doing now is to destroy everything destroyable and get our freedom. And then we are going to adopt a true democratic system where you will have the right to protest, where you have the right to carry flags and all that and hit to the street if you feel you are being treated badly. I want you to understand that the Biafra we are talking about is a Biafra where people will take to the street like you see in Scotland today. I want you to understand that the Biafra we are talking about is Biafra that you are right, just like the Scottish people are doing now, demanding for their freedom from the United Kingdom in the street of Endibong and all that. The Biafra we are talking about is a Biafra you can carry flag. If you feel that you want to be autonomy within the within the Biafra Confederation, you can protest like this. You're looking at the Scottish people. The Scottish people, this is Scotland. They are protesting 2 days ago. They were on the streets of Edinburgh and they were protesting and demanding freedom from the United Kingdom. So this is what we call democracy. That is what we call democracy. In a democratic country like this, you don't see anybody carry arms. You don't see police killing anybody. You don't see police invading them and killing them. So you do not expect them to carry arms like the Biafra people are now carrying arms to defend themselves because they are being killed. Now, when you come to Nigeria, I want to first of all give you example why we are going to stop Nigeria from exercising any democratic process in Biafra territory. I want to make it clear today that Biafra people will stop Nigeria exercising any democratic process in Biafra land. This is what they did to Biafra people who did not carry arms. They only went to pray, and the Nigeria state, they came there and they killed all of them. Here, we will bring you evidence to see the difference between democratic and non-democratic government.
Its own way of dealing with peaceful gatherings it doesn't like.
Peaceful gathering.
They started shooting us, killing our brothers. Over 10 of them were lying there.
The army is trained to kill and not to police processions or protests or demonstrations. They are trained to eliminate whoever they see as the enemy.
See young men, young boys, 18 years, 15 years, being wasted like that. Just because of what you don't know.
The day began with a gathering of people who want to create an independent country in the southeast of Nigeria, what was once known as Biafra. Pro-Biafra members and supporters had come to pray for the release from prison of one of their leaders.
Did you hear that? They have come to pray. They have come to pray. They gathered in a field to pray. But what did the Nigeria government do? They killed them. 150 of them slaughtered and they died in their cold blood. This killing did not stop. By this time, Biafra people have not picked up arms. I want you to understand from where we are coming from, the background. So when they tell you about democracy, tell them it is the time is no longer the time we listen to that nonsense. Nigeria don't have democracy. Only democracy will be seen in Biafra land when Biafra is restored. So this is the democracy that people are telling you to protect.
We have seen an increased number of disgruntled young men and women in southeastern Nigeria joining processions, joining gatherings to demand for an independent Biafra state. Because the people in that part of the country have always felt marginalized, they've always been segregated against, they've always been left out in the share of the Nigerian national game.
Back in 1967, people in the southeast of Nigeria declared themselves independent, creating a separate country called Biafra. A civil war ensued in which an estimated 2 million civilians died, mainly from famine, as a result of the blockade on food supplies imposed by the Nigerian government. Almost 50 years on, there is a resurgence in calls for Biafra to again become a separate state. About 200 pro-Biafra members and supporters gathered in a high school playing field. Many reported what happened next.
So, Have you seen it? Have you seen the reason why whenever they come to tell you Simon Ekpa and the Biafra people, they want to stop democratic process, tell them we don't stop democratic process. Where I am, that is democracy. And I participate in democratic process where we live. I participate in election here. And I am a lover and an advocate of democracy. But in Nigeria, there is no democracy. So who says we are trying to disrupt the democratic process? Now, I want you to look at what is democratic process again for the second time.
Decision to stand for becoming MP. And I just had a conversation 5 minutes ago about would anybody have imagined what's happened in the last 8 years? If we could have predicted that in 2014. Do you think?
Now, I have just showed you have seen Nigeria, how they killed us. And they have seen the United Kingdom, Scotland, demonstration just 2 days ago, demanding for their own independence from the United Kingdom. Nobody is being killed. Nobody carry arms. Nigeria even killed their own people, their own citizens, who were not demonstrating or demanding freedom. They are only demanding some kind of, to have some kind of overhaul of the SARS. The disbandment of SARS, security operative, that the Fulani people have used to commit all manner of atrocities against the Nigeria people. They were only demanding for a better police service system, security system, a better security system, where people cannot be killed anyhow. And police brutality. Thank you. And you know what they do? The police reform. Thank you. You can call it police reform. Answers. And you know what they did? Instead of them to look into the demand of the people, they killed them. So how can somebody come to say, don't fight against democratic process? There is no democratic process in Nigeria. And that is the reason why the only opportunity we have to leave Nigeria is next year. Next year, presidential and general election. We are going to stop it. And I want to make the point very clear. what the Biafra people are going to do is to stop Nigeria from conducting election in Biafra territory. We are going to stop Nigeria from conducting election in Biafra land. And any place that is Biafra, we will make sure we stop Nigeria from conducting election there. That is our target, by force. We are going to use force to stop it. And let me tell you, it is the resolve of Biafra people. One of the weapons we have now is the election. And let me tell you how it is going to work. I'm going to give you a very brief, before we go into Asaba massacre, I'm going to give you a brief how it is going to work. Like, we have been able to establish that Nigeria is not a democratic country. So do not come to tell us how we are planning and trying to stop democratic process. There is no democratic process in Nigeria. We have been able to prove that to you. Number two, by the time we succeed in stopping the democratic process or the voting in Biafra land, in Biafra territory, two things is going to happen. One, before explaining these two things that is going to happen, let me give the background of why the stopping election, Nigeria from conducting election in Biafra land is very important. For you to be a president of Nigeria, according to the law, that doesn't exist. For you to be a president in Nigeria, you must win 25% of 24 states, including Abuja. And I want you people to know how evil they restructured Nigeria, because they know the time is coming when Biafra will stop election in Nigeria. I am telling you. So do you know what they did? They said, for you to be a president in Nigeria, you must win 24 states with at least 25% of the vote. Now, when we look at the Biafra state, Biafra has about 13, at least 13 states, not fully 13 states, but Biafra has 11 states and part of Kogi and part of Benue. So let's say we have 13 states of Biafra, the 13 states that make up Biafra territory today. When we take the part of Benue, part of Kogi, part of Edo state, we have that 13 state that make up Biafra. Like, let me also say this. It is not a must that everybody within this 13 state will be part of Biafra. It is not a must. If you don't want to be part of Biafra, we will let you go. And I know that when the opportunity for referendum comes, we are going to put it to vote. So if you don't want to be part of Biafra, no problem. You can go and handle your own way. We don't have problem with that. But it is going to be vote. It's not one-man decision. So those in those areas will vote also, whether they want to be part of Biafra or not. So we are not yet, discussing about the disagreement within ourselves, whether this one wants to be part of Biafra or not, because when that time comes, we are going to open the floor, and people are going to decide through a democratic process that never existed in Nigeria. So we don't have issue. So when they come with distraction, Akwa Ibom is not Biafra, Calabar don't want to be part of Biafra, all those nonsense, we are not, it's a distraction. Because when we get to that bridge, you are going to know, actually, the Calabar people will talk whether they are part of Biafra or not. When we go to that bridge, Akwa Ibom people will talk whether they are Biafra or not. So we are not there yet. And we are not listening to gossips. Now, and let me also tell you that during the time that we are going to have a referendum where the Calabar people, Akwa Ibom people, and the other people will vote to be part of Biafra, we are going to have a massive awareness for them to actually understand what it means to be part of Biafra and not to be part of Biafra. We're going to have that grassroots awareness, massive awareness. for that, for just the referendum alone. It is going to be a campaign. So when we have that, we'll be able, the people will be able to know, what is best for them. Is it to be part of Biafra, or is it to have their own separate state, which we are not going to kick against, because everybody wants to be free. Okay, if you are not comfortable with us, you can go your way. We don't care. Nancy Harbour, thank you very much for your super chat. We appreciate you. So what I'm trying to say is that for you to be a president in Nigeria, you must win 24 states with over at least 25% of the vote. Now, it is now when it comes to the election of a president, they now remember it is going to be 24 states instead of zone. Okay? They didn't say zone. They didn't say you must win 4 zone. They didn't say you must win 5 zone. They said 24 states. So in the election, I want you to understand how Fulani have restructured Nigeria, and you idiots don't know. Not Biafra, but those Nigeria idiots, they don't know. So when they want to talk election, about the percentage of the election, they didn't remember that is zoning. They didn't remember that in Nigeria, you have 6 geopolitical zones. They now calculated it to state. And it is because of that reason, the Biafra land have the least state in Nigeria. The south of Biafra have 6 states. The southeast of Biafra have 5 states. So combine it together, you have 11 states. Okay? You have 11 states. Now, this 11 states from the from the southeast. Now you bring the middle belt, the Benue part, and the Kogi part of Biafra. So if you minus 11 states from 36 states of the federation, how many does it give you? If you minus 11 states from 36, can we have how many states? Does it gonna give you 25 states? 25. So literally 25 states. So what does this mean? What it means is that without Biafra land, you can still produce president. But it is not possible. What they are telling you now is that without Biafra territory, without Southeast and without South-South, you can still produce president. But do you know what? It is not. Plus FCT. Yes, thank you. Plus the Abuja is 37, of course, plus Abuja. So if you minus 11 states from 36, it will give you 25. So already you can conduct election with 25 states and still produce Nigeria president. Do you understand me? But for that to be possible, the president, whoever that is going to win in the election, must provide 25, must win at least 25% of the entire 24 states, which is not possible. It is not possible because the people in Yoruba land cannot give 25% of the vote, in all states of Yoruba land to Fulani. The same thing happens to the north. The northern people, Fulani, cannot give 25% of every vote, every state to the Tinubu from the Yoruba land. Thank you very much, 26. So it is not possible. And let's even take it that it is not possible. And then also we'll come to look at it from the context that it is possible. So if it is not possible to get for a Yoruba man to get 25% of vote in the entire 24 remaining states, minus the Biafra territory, if it is possible, how will the politician in the state of Biafra react to that? Are they going to accept it? Of course, you know what the answer is. They will never accept it. They will never accept it because it is going to be a combination of both the opposition and the ruling party and the other political parties that are involved in the southeast and the south-south that made up Biafra land. So the politicians in this state who are now loggerhead against each other will never accept it. So it is not only us. We are now putting them by force into the struggle for Biafra. I want you people to understand the strategy we want to use. And I'm making this public because it has become imperative for you people to know from which angle we are coming from. So if Tinubu is declared a winner, every politician that is against Tinubu from Biafra land will rise up against it. If Atiku is declared a winner, every politician in Biafra land that is against Atiku will rise up and they will form alliance with Biafra. I want you people to understand that this is the only way to make Nigeria bleed for the pains they have caused us many years. So, whichever way, we are on the winning side. And if at the end of the day, they decided to vote without the Biafra territory, and nobody were able to win 24% of the state with at least 25% vote among this contestant or among this aspirant, that is an outright crisis. And from that crisis, new nation will emerge. And I'm only giving you this illustration from the Biafrans alone, from the context and the perspective of a Biafran. I have not even analyzed the Yoruba nation activities. I have not analyzed the Middle Belt from Otom, Governor Otom, Benue State people. I have not analyzed Kaduna crisis. I have not analyzed Jos crisis. I have not analyzed indigenous Hausa perspective. I am only giving you now Biafra, only Biafra perspective. And let me tell you, by the time the indigenous people in other parts of Nigeria hear how resolute Biafra stood against election, they are going to also rise up. And that is an extra. If they don't rise up, we are still winning. And if they rise up, it facilitates it even more. And I want you to understand, as it stands today, nobody is happy with Nigeria. All the things they do is patch. And they are only looking for opportunity to take the thing by themselves. And that opportunity will be created by Biafra people under the leadership of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And IPOB autopilot will instigate it. I want you to understand that IPOB autopilot has become officially the liberation movement for the freedom of Biafra people from Nigeria. Every strategic things we have will be put in place. We have the plan and the roadmap. So I have just given you the example of what is going to be the outcome. Because when you listen to them, they say, oh, if you do not vote, Atiku will declare winner. Oh, if you did not vote, Tinubu will declare winner. Is that what you want? Oh, if you do not vote, Peter Obi will not win. Vote Peter Obi to release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Peter Obi to release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. How Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is going to be released, we know it. And we are not going to touch that sensitive part of the liberation. We know how he is going to be released when we have crossed this bridge. That is if they have not released him before then. So we are not going to tell you how Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will be released. But let me tell you, we know their plan. We told them that You release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu now. And if he's going to intervene, there is any political whatever solution, let him come and discuss with us. And let us listen to him. Then, at the dying minute, he will come to say, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, come and talk to them. Well, we can still listen to him. The only thing we're after now is for him to come out from there. Forget the other thing. Forget how he is going to talk to us. Forget how he is going to convince us. Forget how he is going to address us. Bring him out. But if you think that what we are doing now is something you know before, we will disappoint you. Biafrans will disappoint. People have died in this struggle. We are going to disappoint you. I want you people to understand the way people have been killed in the name of Biafra, just for freedom. They kill us without remorse. Today starts the beginning of the program of Asaba massacre. Biafrans were massacred in Asaba. Nigeria government and the Fulani, they didn't start killing us today. So today we are opening the Asaba massacre. That is why I dress like this. Some of you are wondering, why did I dress like this? I dress like this because today marked the beginning in remembrance of Asaba massacre. And now we are going to that program. Watch it.
The progress of the federal troops towards Asaba could be measured by the approaching sound of heavy guns and the rattling machine gun fire. Eyewitness account described 24 hours of ferocious shelling, during which Asaba suffered its first casualties. Then the massacre followed. This video is inspired by the book entitled The Asaba Massacre, Trauma, Memory and the Nigerian Civil War, written by Elizabeth Bed and Fraser Otanelli. Welcome to Hispro Media. Approaching Asaba from along the Okpanam-Asaba Road, federal troops reached the outskirts of town on October 4th, where they overcame some Biafran resistance before occupying the grounds of St. Patrick's College later that day. This was the 2nd Division of the Nigerian Army, led by Colonel Moritala Mohammed and Major Ibrahim Taiwo. At this point, many of the residents had fled into the nearby bush. Hundreds of people, including some who had first fled to the bush, men, women, and children, gathered at the square wearing white attires signifying surrender and singing One Nigeria, and also some bearing gifts for the soldiers. Since there was a
This is something they did in 1967, 1970, 1968, 1969 to 1970. They killed the people shouting One Nigeria in Asaba. They murdered them in their thousands. In 2020, after many years, Fulani Nigeria government still killed Nigerians who carry Nigeria flag and shouting One Nigeria at the Lekki toll gate. What have
and trucks equipped with loudspeakers were reportedly calling on everyone to join. The chief information officer from Benin fans him alleges a fear of many residents. Tina of northern pogrom and the threats of war. Her father resided on one of Asaba's most beautiful estates at the time.
she returned at France in the north. So how long have they killed Biafrans for us to end this thing once and for all? That is why this generation, of which Simon Ekpa is proud of, to be part of, will end the Nigeria criminality, corruption, and the evil entity by 2023. We are going to be the regeneration that will bring freedom to our people. And we are doing it. And we are going to do it next year.
Which was made of a large brick house and a number of outbuildings. The family, which consisted of our parents, younger brother Osi, sisters, and an older brother Emmanuel, together with his wife and little child, had felt generally secured back in their home. Her father was a powerful man, and the family had recently celebrated her brother Patrick's ordination as a Catholic priest. They were now hiding as shots started to hit their house. Osi and his friend Callistus, both students of St. Patrick's College, hid under beds. However, when the soldiers arrived at their compound, all hell broke loose. Osi and his friend ran out of hiding and were accused of being Biafran soldiers. They were shot one after the other as they approached a gathering of women who were on a forced dance outside the gate of the compound. About 4,000 residents took part and were led by join those who had big Indebisi Road across from the High Court.
About 4,000 Biafrans participated. What does this mean? What it means is that on that fateful day, over 4,000 Biafrans were massacred in Asaba. That is what we are remembering